Yesterday, I was busy, and luckily there wasn't much going on in our space because I'm trying once again to upgrade, and I got a different MBN router, and my internet was shit yesterday morning. Why? Because there was a storm here in Sydney. So fingers crossed we get a good stream, right? I hate paying for a service that I don't get. That is the one time you guys will ever see me frazzled. If you know me in real life, I'm an easygoing guy. Personality wise, I'm the type of guy growing up, even in stressful situations, in street fights, in when people were trying to, get one over on me. I'm smiling. I've never been mad. I've been in street fights as a kid and never even cracked this, yelled. I'm not a yeller. I'm not a screamer. I'm smiling. Easy. I'm easy come, easy go, except when I pay for a service and I don't get it. That drives me insane. It probably drives you insane as well. Guys, join our Johnny Says Boxing VIP membership. It's a couple bucks a month. That link is pinned in the comment section below on these live streams. You'll see the boys like Brandon with the stars near their name. They are VIPs. They get much more access on the channel, much more access during the lives. They get propped up during these streams. And also, you get access to our Discord. It's a professional betting Discord. I must say, for you guys who've asked, I don't watch soccer. I don't watch football. But you guys were starting to ask me in the DMs, can I start a soccer channel in the Discord? Because you guys gamble on it. So if you're into soccer, there's a couple boys from the UK who know their shit. It's in the Discord. There's a soccer thread. There's an American football thread. There's an MMA thread. There's a boxing thread. Remember, this is a boxing channel. I'm not doing football breakdowns. I'm not giving you my American football parlays every week. Don't expect me ever to break down soccer or football. In the Discord, those channels are there to keep things compartmentalized and to appease you guys. Okay, so as you guys are checking in, I want to talk a little bit about, let me get to this. Desert Gromlin, hey, I'm curious, I joined the first plan. Does that get me in the, yeah, it does. So Desert Gromlin, I appreciate you joining. Welcome. The link to join the Discord now, Desert, if you go to my YouTube channel's interface, you now have another option that the regular YouTube subs don't see. It'll say members posts or members section. Go there and you'll see the Discord link. And just click that link and you'll get access. If that doesn't work, send me a private message. Adu, I'm sure you'd lose your shit if one of your subscribers requested a breakdown. Okay, maybe, should we start there, Adu? Should we start there? Should I? Because if you're in the Discord, Adu probably just read the message I just put in the Discord. I feel like I have to explain this every time there's an MVP card or every time we have to sit through this mockery of our sport with Jake Paul. Every time we have to sit through, I just heard a couple guys online that I respect giving him props for the card. No, at this stage of the game, the boxing community, it's amazing to me. I know why the mainstream guys won't say it. I'm not mainstream. I'm a little dude. Nobody knows who I am. I'm going to say what's on my mind. And even if I was mainstream, my love of the sport, I will always say what's on my mind. And if you guys ever catch me not doing that, call my punk ass out. My point is, Jake Paul gets zero props from me. Once again, he's prostituting our sport under the guise of real boxing, under the guise of he's a women's promoter. You think he gives a shit about women's boxing? He doesn't give a shit about women's boxing. He's doing that so he could prop him up and add credibility to what he's doing. And that's stealing from us, stealing from the fans, cheapening our sport. Pro fighters only have a handful of fights in their career when you look at the grand scheme of things. You then take that in consideration and look at how many fighters actually get to see their name in the marquee. How many fighters of those pro fighters will ever have a main event? Will ever then have a main event on a pay-per-view card or a Netflix? Very few. I'm friends with a lot of fighters. Do you guys know what selling tables is? Have you ever had to sell tables? Do you realize how, one of the reasons I got into promoting a fighter and managing a fighter during the pandemic was I wanted to do my due diligence to the sport. I wanted to give back. She didn't have anyone promoting her, and she had to not only do training camp, you also have to prepare for your opponent. You have to stay fit. She's not getting paid anything, so she had to have a side job. And then she has to sell tables. So my point is, when I then see a guy like Jake Paul who comes into our sport as an influencer and sees a gap in the market per se, and then he starts having these fights, fighting MMA fighters, retired fighters, washed up fighters, guys that he could beat. And then you see him at the press conference yesterday, and I don't like Tank Davis. I'm not defending Gervonta Davis at all. I'm not a fan of him. I like Tank as a boxer. I'm not a fan of him as everything that I've heard about outside of the ring. Look, and people are going to talk about, he had a rough life. We all have rough lives. You know what happens when you have a rough life? You go from a boy to a man and you make your own decisions and you hold yourself accountable. So things that Tank has done outside the ring, that's not a dude I would hang out with. He's a weirdo in my opinion. Tank is a goddamn weirdo in my opinion. He's a weird little dude. So that being said, how Jake was talking to him yesterday at the press conference is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not to even bring up, how disrespectful Jake Paul was to Tank was absolutely asinine. That's not even my whole point here. My whole point is he then announces his card. Gary Antoine Russell is fighting Andy Hiroka. Gary Antoine Russell is one of my favorite fighters. I can't wait for that fight. I'm salty that fight is on the Jake Paul card. Now I have to watch that card. And my point is, he's adding credibility to who he is because he's putting real fighters on his card, and most people in the boxing space is going to be like, good job, Jake. I got to give you props, Jake. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You'll never hear me swear. I'm not giving you props for that. This is akin to what Turkey is doing to our sport. We forget about Jamal Khashoggi. I'll never stop speaking about this because I'm an author, I'm a writer. I'm a coach first, then a writer, right? Do your own research. Look what happened to the Washington Post journalist who was writing about the Saudi regime, MBS, Mohammed bin Salim, and then look what happened to him. There's a whole documentary about Jamal Khashoggi and how that just goes away, right? The Saudis have been doing this for a long time, and they took the blueprint from what the Germans were doing with Hitler, the Nazi regime, 1936 Olympics, the Munich Games. These people will have hide a tyrannical government under the guise of sports entertainment to sort of, hide what's really happening politically. But what's really happening is a tyrannical government, abuses of power, abuses of people. Jake Paul took that sort of protocol. It's what the Saudis are doing. Put money into boxing, put money into LIV golf, put money into F1 racing. Google the art museums that they're doing in Saudi, in Riyadh. Do I want to go? I want to go to Riyadh. I want to see this. But let's forget about their underminings of what they do, especially if somebody is writing any sort of negative, op-eds about them in an international sort of media company like the Washington Post and Khashoggi. So my point is Jake Paul hurting people? No. So I'm only using it as the protocol. You remove a couple little things from the equation of, obviously tyranny, war, abuse, horrific actions. You remove that from Paul's recipe, but what he is doing is he's getting very, very wealthy off prostituting our sport, propping himself up as a legit women's promoter and then having a boxing career he's fighting Tank Davis in these fake exhibition matches for the sake of his bankroll. I look at it as the same thing. I don't see it any different. And a year ago, I would have said props to Jake for what he's doing to women's boxing. He's at least propping them up. He's at least paying them. But the more I sit with it, the more you see what he's doing, how he's acting. You don't see a guy in the press conference who is humble. You don't see, he's selling a fight, he's a good marketer. He just compared boxing to the WWE yesterday. It's like, of all the corruption that our sport has had to deal with my whole life, the last thing we need is a guy who's having Netflix events saying that. And yeah, he's awful for the sport. End rant. What's up, guys? What's up, Rant? End rant. Thoughts on Catterall joining Team Ennis? I love it. Jack's been going to the U.S. to get sparring for a while. What's up, Christian Morales? Just from vacation, time to make some money. Let's do it. We have a couple fights. Jinru. I hope Jake goes off script and knocks out Tank. Get him out of boxing. Yeah, I'm not a Tank guy. What's good, DJ? Don't care for the exhibition, but Paul Davis undercard is quality. GAR Hiroko. Yeah, Scottney, Bumgarner, Bodian. True. One thing about Jake Paul, he's goofy, but he puts on a decent card. Yep. Why is he doing it, though? What's his intention? Guys, there's something that I always teach to. So I have a lot of clients I have a lot of young dudes who are my clients in person. I teach them strength and conditioning. I teach them boxing. My clientele in person, The age demographic is usually 18 to 30. And a lot of these guys, when you're inviting them into your private gym, you get to know them. My clients are like family. I care about all of my clients. And how you hear me talking just like this is what they get. They know this version. This is who I am. And what I tell them in terms of the comment that said Jake Card, the one thing Jake Paul does is put on hell of cards. Here's what I tell those younger guys, because a lot of guys they struggle with leadership. There's not a lot of people that are giving them advice on how to be a man, how to treat people, how to treat themselves. And the compliments you just give Jake Paul, I have to ask you, there's a philosophical equation that is a Buddhist philosophy called intent versus attent. Intention versus attention. It's how any person who's aware of this goes into any life situation. So, the younger guy going to a nightclub, you have to ask yourself, you're 22 years old, intention. What is my intention going into this nightclub versus paying attention or being attentive and just showing up? 90+% of younger men are just paying attention to their surroundings. They're not living their day-to-day with intention. They don't have direct goals or direct reasons why they go. You just go to a bar to get hammered, try to get pussy. You go to a bar because you don't want to stay at home. That's not living with intent. That's living with attent. So with that same sort of modality, what's Jake's intention versus attention? We know what it is. His intentions aren't good. I'm not giving him props for putting on a good card. His intentions aren't for boxing. He doesn't care about women's sports. What are we talking about? The dude is a goofball. So yeah, it's Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. What are we doing, man? Somebody like that. What are we talking about? Jake Paul wants to be a fighter. Call out Jai Apataya. Okay, it's your weight class. It's your division. Jai's your age. You think you could box? Fight Jai. You talk all this shit. You're talking to a kid who's 5'5", who weighs 145 pounds max, and you're talking about making fun of his ankle bracelet, making fun of his domestic abuse record, all things that behind closed doors I don't like Tank for either. But to do that for the sake of marketing and selling a fight, what are you doing? It was a disgusting no respect for the sport, no revelry, and that's what's missing in our sport. We need our sport to be, I talked about it last week, the lack of a belt system. You know what I mean? The lack of a belt system in boxing is sometimes why you get a lot of disrespect in sparring. I hate when I see footage going viral of smokers. So a smoker in my day is, in between amateur fights, you're trying to get rounds in and your coach would take you to another gym, either in your town or out of your town, and you're having basically illegal fights. A smoker is illegal, right? But sometimes in those sort of matches, or even like the old, Floyd Mayweather footage from his gym, those wars that you would see where, people would be basically legal cockfighting with humans, with young fighters. Some of those videos went viral when Devin was younger. I think there's videos of when Shakur was younger, the doghouse, I think. So you don't get that in mixed martial arts. You don't get that in traditional martial arts because you have a sensei, because you have a belt system, because each time you go train, you're listening to somebody. You have your anchor. There's discipline and revelry. Now, some boxing gyms are like that. I've been to some great boxing gyms, both in my hometown in Ohio and in Sydney, where there's revelry, but a lot don't. A lot don't. And, because of that, you get a lot of, the sort of disrespect. I mean, people die. Once again, people die in our sport. Every year, people die. We just witnessed this summer, multiple fighters on the Japanese card passed away. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is real shit. And to see this dude and I don't care if you're getting wealthy. It's not that I'm not coming at a point, oh, he's getting rich. I wish you would. Make your money, mate. But you don't have to do it, the way you're doing it. And who am I to be a gatekeeper? I'm just some dude. I'm just some old head on my couch in Sydney, mate. So, I'm not trying to play this moral high ground. It's just that in our Discord, when you ask me about Jake Paul versus Gervonta and you're giving him props, and on my live stream, I have the right to my own opinion. So make your money. He's do your thing, man. You know what I'm saying? We grind. We live one time. But if we have to hold something sacred, there has to be some hill everybody out there, you have to have, hopefully you have one hill that you'll die on. You know what I mean? It's a metaphor. You have to believe in something. You have to stand for something. Boxing was my first love, dude. So, it's I know what my intention is for my opinion. And I would tell Jake that straight to his face. And the crazy thing is, Jake grew up like 45 minutes from me. He grew up near Mansfield, Ohio, Cleveland area. I'm from Youngstown. He's an Ohio guy. I'm usually, you guys know me, I'm a loyalist. I'm an Ohio loyalist for fighters, for teams. If you're from Cleveland, fuck, you know, I'm not a Cincinnati fan because we don't consider Cincinnati, Ohio. We call it Cincinnati. But you get my point. You'd like to see more. I'd like to see better from that guy. He's still young, though. He's still young. He still has a lot of that teenage angst. Here we go. Let's talk, boys. We got let's talk about some betting. We got some options. Mankey Crazy. If you're not on this live, shout out to Mankey Crazy. I uploaded a VIP level 2 video for you. So if you guys want to see my breakdown of Mark Jeffers versus Willie Hutchinson, my Stats Don't Lie video is up now on the fight prediction playlist. That fight happens next week. It's a fight at light heavyweight. It's a very intriguing fight at light heavyweight. It's in Scotland. We do, notoriously on our channel, we do really well in Scotland, other than when Josh Taylor's fighting. But Nathaniel Collins is on that card as well. So we win a lot of money on Nathaniel Collins. This fight is going to be Mark Jeffers' first fight at light heavyweight. Both men are coming off losses. We haven't seen Willie Hutchinson since his loss last year in September. He lost a decision loss to, his name's slipping a really tough. He lost a decision, and we haven't seen Jeffers since a really kind of shocking loss to Sean Hemphill. So anyway, that fight's in the fight prediction video. I want to go. We got 3 cards that I'm getting options for, so we could get into the nit and grit of this right now. We got the card, the Pro Box card. We have this is on DAZN. It's in England. It's in Sheffield. Ben Crocker, Sean McComb. I'll be uploading my breakdown today on the channel. And then there is a MVP card in Quebec. It's in Canada. And we're getting options. It's a female IBF minimum world title fight between the number 4 ranked female and the number 2 ranked female. And it's interesting to see. Saul Kudos is the A side. Kim Clavel is the B side. Kim Clavel is actually Clavel. I'm not too familiar with her. She's higher ranked in the in BoxRec's algorithm, and she's the favorite on the books, but she's coming in as the B side. So I got to watch tape. I'm going to do tape on the Crocker McComb. I'll give you guys Kudos and Clavel, and I want to get to the Pro Box card, the Najee Lopez and Calvin Henderson. So the thing is, I'm not getting options yet for the Calvin Henderson fight and the Najee Lopez fight. So it's hard for me to give you an analysis and breakdown if I'm not getting odds, because I use the odds as an integral component in when I'm writing my script for those videos. So just be patient. It's Wednesday morning here. I'm going to go live one more time today. It's Tuesday night in America, so we do have time. I'm going to take some questions now. Preach. Yeah, sorry about the preach, you guys. Victor, I enjoyed boxing in 2018. Jake is whack. Yeah, people are gonna be reverent to him because they want to get paid, boys. Guys, there's a term that remember these 2 words, gentlemen and women. If you're watching, I don't get a lot of women, which is fine. I have my one woman. I'm in love with the woman of my life, Christina. So I don't need women following me. But if you do, welcome. You know, I'm a gentleman. My point is, for the guys out there, there's 2 words that you should, if you don't know these 2 words, you should write them down. You should never forget them. I was given these 2 words by a mentor of mine in 2013. I just moved to Sydney from Vegas. I was a bartender, drinking every night. I was miserable. He said, Johnny, you need to develop personal sovereignty. Personal sovereignty, these 2 words mean you need to reach a point in your life where your word, your belief system, your effort, your ethics, your morality will always supersede all of the things around you. So you get to a point in your life where you know who you are. Nothing anybody in your room is going to change who you are, what you stand for. Personal sovereignty. When you get to that position in life, you become a free man. And I'm in that position in my life. It took me years to get there. I do not care what people think of me. I do not care whoever else is in my room. It's not going to ever change my opinion. So this is where I mean, and I'm not coming at it from an arrogant, self-righteous perspective. This is a form of personal development, personal sovereignty. You know who you are. You're not trying to impress people. You're not going to be able to get bullied online. You're not going to be able to let somebody deter your plans. You have your plans. You have your goals. You have your roadmap. You create a plan of attack. You upskill yourself. You learn how to develop whatever you have that you're good at, and you just focus on that. And no matter how crazy the world gets, how many people are changing their opinion of you, it doesn't matter. Personal sovereignty, write that stuff. It really means a lot, because once you get there and once you're aware of it, you won't forget it. Intent versus attent. Live with intention, not attention. Everyone lives with intent. We want people to like us. We want people to like our videos. We want people to give us compliments. All that shit is bullshit. If you're living that way, you don't have a plan of attack. You don't have a goal. What are we working towards? So intention over attention. Don't ever forget that either. Welcome, Facts, Johnny. We being yeah, guys. So this is a side of me you don't really get a lot on these live streams. But my post-grad degree in college is in leadership and personal development. I never talk about it. If you ever read my books, though, I've written 2 books that you'll better understand what I'm all about when you read what I write. But yeah, let's get into it. Play a one man, one woman. One man, one woman. I'm here. Yeah, she's good. True about it. Najee, a punk. He is known for asking dudes here in Atlanta to spar, then knocks out the new guys. Half of us in Atlanta screamed enjoy. No shit, Toxic. I didn't know that. So Toxic Gameplays. He says Najee is a punk. He is known for asking dudes here in Atlanta to spar, then knocks out the new guy. Yeah, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Half of us in Atlanta screamed in joy when Michael Hunter outboxed him at the Nationals. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, and I appreciate your honest insight, because I didn't know that. And you see, I don't know this situation, Toxic. This is just my instinct on how I compute this story, is that my mind goes straight to lack of leadership in Najee's life, the lack of accountability in Najee's life, the lack of somebody either older than him or somebody that he respects, a man figure that could hold him down and hold him accountable and just say, hey, mate, this isn't good work. This isn't how you get good work. There's other ways to operate. There's other ways to maneuver. You don't want to, burn bridges. You don't want to become known for being that guy. Because you know what? If you become known for that guy, you end up on a dude in Sydney's live stream. And another dude in Atlanta who's connected with that dude's live stream is telling his stream all about this. DJ, yes, sir. Achieve your goals. Fuck who's watching. Don't ask for an audience. DJ, 100%, man. This is what I'm talking. Personal sovereignty, man. Personal sovereignty. It's very important. What's up, Assad? UK in the house. Facts, DJ, JP. Now I like Najee more. Real boy, JP. From a fighter's perspective, let's see what those are. Are you guys getting odds on Lopez versus Henderson? I mean, Najee's ranked 14. Henderson's ranked 91. So, Najee's 14-0. Calvin's 19-2. Light heavyweight. It's a division where anything can happen. 14 wins, 11 knockouts. I never cheer for guys to lose, by the way. So, I don't know him personally. To give you an example, and I mean that when I say I never cheer for anybody to lose. So it's even when Toxic tells me the story, it doesn't change how I look at Najee Lopez. It's just insights to kind of like to be aware of. It doesn't change how I look at him. I wouldn't wish anybody who gets in the ring to lose, and that's just how I am. I had a falling out once with a fighter and the fighter's coach, and if I told you the whole story, you would be shocked. You would be shocked. Just the betrayal. It involved money. It involved backstabbing. It involved lies. It involved a smear campaign. But when that boxer fights, I don't cheer for that boxer to lose. I'm not a vengeful guy. Like I said earlier when I started the stream, I'm not mean-spirited. So when I hear stories like Najee doing that to sparring partners, I don't think it's a reflection of him. I don't think it's a reflection of his spirit. I think it's a reflection of the bigger picture would be the lack of leadership when he was a younger guy, the lack of accountability. You got to be accountable. And so in boxing, in our sport, we know this. How many guys could you name off real quick without even looking that were super successful, invincible, maybe undefeated, looked amazing, We loved hearing them talk. We loved their walkouts. Just look, and then they lost, or then they got knocked out, or then they got stopped, and it changed everything. This is what I'm talking about. Because you can't walk around like you're invincible. You need people in your corner to hold you accountable and hold you down, even if you are undefeated. Because what happens when you lose? What happens when you face adversity? You're just going to have a meltdown. You're not going to have the skills, the mental skills around you to be able to deal with it. And we've seen this happen with fighters collapse, whether it's substance abuse, drug abuse, substance abuse, domestic violence. And none of those are excuses for the outcomes of them losing. But I think the reaction to adversity is rooted in the lack of leadership and accountability coming up. And that's really important. It's something I was speaking to one of my younger clients about yesterday. One of the things missing in our culture, this form of humanity, human culture, is the lack of a sort of rite of passage. The idea, it was only not too long ago in humanity, human culture, us being humans, it wasn't that too long ago where every boy reached a certain age, wherever you lived in the world, and you were released out into the world to survive for an extended period of time, whether it was the wilderness, the desert, the valleys, wherever it was. And you had to show that you had the skills as a younger person to be able to defend yourself, survive, protect yourself, and then come back. You then were able to step into the version of who you were going to become as a man. And this step, the lack of a rite of passage for young boys and younger men going into there isn't one. You see it in everything. You could see it in how fighters carry themselves. You could see it in how athletes carry themselves. So yeah, and this is why when you guys hear me talk about, I like fighters who are rooted in either their corner or their family. This is what I'm talking about. It's a little bit deeper for me than just boxing and the sport, because I look at the world. Boxing is life. This is so true. Boxing is life is not a corny t-shirt or a corny phrase. You could see so many lessons during a fight, and you could get to know somebody, whether it's the good or bad things, what are happening to them. You really get to know their spirit of a person. And this is who we either like or we dislike. This is who we either, one of the parts of my personality was why I liked Floyd Mayweather is because he was always able to win and he was always able to talk. And when I was like 15 years old, I played high school quarterback. My dad's at one of my games, and we're playing our rival team, and I'd take a bootleg, fake a dive, roll around the corner, and I scored a touchdown. And like 5 yards before the end zone, I started showboating. My dad's like, Johnny, after the game, he's like, Johnny, what the fuck, man? Just give the ball back to the ref. Why you gotta do a dance? He's like, act like you've been here before. He was like, you just look like you scored your first freaking touchdown. He's like, you've been scoring touchdowns. Give the ball back to the ref. So it's in me. I like showboaters. Like part of my not my whole personality, but part of my personality is I like dudes who talk shit who are successful. So that's kind of like the personality. I don't like all of Floyd. I don't like, obviously, 100% but a little side of him. And then with Chico Corrales and Arturo Gatti, I love that I've seen them get knocked out before. I love the fact that I've seen these guys get off the canvas in a fight and win a fight. That's another part of my personality. And this is what I mean, boxing is life. The more you get to know who you are and how you're wired, and if boxing is in your life, you start really understanding who you cheer for, why you like this fighter. So it's pretty fascinating. It's pretty interesting. It's why boxing's the best sport in the world. That's a hill I'll die on too. Real shit. Yeah, so sorry about the ranting, guys. I haven't seen you guys in a day. It feels like I feel like I haven't seen you guys in like a year. It's only been a day. So we're getting caught up. And a lot happens in 24 hours. So anyway, we're 30 minutes in. I'm going to go over the odds that I have. We have, and if any of you guys taking these fights, Sportsbet in Australia has Gallagher versus Holloway. It's a 50-50 fight. Tyson Gallagher, Holloway. Ben Crocker versus Sean McComb. And then Kudos versus Clavel. You good, just know I ain't picking Najee. His brother Hakeem way better than him. So Toxic gives us more insight. Nah, you good, just know I ain't picking Najee. His brother. So do you see Najee losing, or are you just not messing with him based on your experience? Is this just because we all have fighters we don't bet on, whether we, for whatever reasons. I don't bet on white French fighters. I don't bet on Olympians under 12 fights. I also don't bet on my friends. And some people won't bet on guys they don't like. So are you not betting on Najee because of what you sold us, or do you think that he could be upset? I'm still not getting odds on him. So Bet365. Yep. We're only getting Cedeno versus Rodriguez. I agree. You should rant streams and separate. My bad, dude. I always keep it boxing. My bad. You guys know I always keep it boxing. Survivor Series predictions. Okay, so King of Fitness, Survivor. What is Survivor Series? King of Fitness? I'm not sure what Survivor Series is. Toxic gameplays. Bro, his last performance been ass. His brother was always way better boxer and counterpuncher. He lost already. Toxic, am I slipping? Did we cover Najee? Who did Najee lose to? Are you talking about the Escudero fight, the majority decision? Because he has a majority decision win over Marcos Escudero last year. It was this was on the shit. Wasn't this on the Justin Paldo when Paldo lost that split against Medueno? Did Najee Lopez? What are the scorecards against Escudero? 95-95, 99-91, 99-91. How do you go 99-90? How do you go 95-95, 99-91? Is absolutely insane. That's all I have to see to. I got to rewatch that fight. I didn't see that fight. Nah, bro, I was being serious. Big fan. Oh, all right, man. So maybe we just got to try to categorize it then. Maybe I should, add another live stream to where we're not. It's not. I don't market it as boxing or betting. Maybe another live stream we can market it about topics of the day. King of Fitness. Oh, the Dana White Contender Series. Yeah, King. We'll get to that in a second. Toxic. No, Hakeem Tito Lopez's brother. Oh. I guess I was talking about the fight that he lost. Oh, his brother lost. Manny R. MVP card in Canada Saturday. Yep, Cedeno. So right now, we are getting odds on Henry Cedeno. Henry Cedeno is a huge favorite against Alejandro Rodriguez. Cedeno 16-0. Rodriguez is 19-11. Yes, Cedeno should be eaten. Super lightweight fight. Lost already. I noticed Arslanbach twitches his head. I'm not making the guy. I'm not making of that guy. Just saying. Yeah, Vic. Vic's talking about the White Rhino fighting Arslanbach. It's Vic. I wouldn't go heavy on that fight anyway. You know, it's tough. It's tough really investing too much on the big fellas, the big boys, the heavyweights. Adu, I'm all in for that. It's a good point, Adu. I appreciate your support. Toxic. They probably got him fighting another bum. DJ with the super chat. I appreciate you, fam. Thank you. The super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel. You've been an OG of the channel. Thanks, man. DJ, do you got action this week? I'm gonna get to. So we're 35 minutes in. I'm gonna go over the Dana White Contender Series fights, guys. Don't take too much in. These Contender Series fights this past year. I think there's been 4 weeks. This might be week 5. Week 1, I missed 1. Week 2 and week 3, we hit all of them 10 for 10. Week 4 was last week. I think there was so much, or 2 weeks ago with Crawford. I don't like betting on regional guys that I don't find tape on. So what we tend to find ourselves doing with the Dana White Contender Series fights is you're just betting on the odds. And I'm not an odds better, meaning that I know guys who will seek out action, seek out the pump based on odds. You find yourself betting on arm wrestling tournaments and, you know, who could throw the paper football the farthest. What you guys know about paper football, though, boy? That's an OG one. That was our game. Before social media in grade school, we would take a sheet of paper and fold it up, and you make that little triangle, and then you click it, boy. My point is, I'm not a guy who finds action just because of odds. I like betting on, obviously, just boxing, and I'll sprinkle some on the UFC. This Contender Series stuff, man, a lot of regional prospects, not with a lot of tape. So I wouldn't be investing too much time, money into those bets. I'll go over them for you, though. Sean McComb is fighting this weekend, Manny. Is Sean McComb, Jason Duval. What's up, buddy? Week 7. It's week 7 already. That's crazy. I'm in a vacuum, boys. We're in a vacuum. Rambler, Johnny, I'm gonna copy some of your dance. Rambler, you're wild, mate. Yeah, the story of me even having to dance is insane. I got shamed into learning how to dance when I was 14. I think I've told this on a stream before. New kid at school, 14, and football season. All my mates are my football teammates. I'm our quarterback. So I come in not only as the new kid, but I'm our starting quarterback. And those guys, this core group that I'm going to tell you the story about, are still my brothers. I talk to them all to this day. You know, we're 43 now. We've been friends since we were 14. Matthew, Andre, Eddie, and Bob. And we're at this, and in the night, this would have been 1997. I was 15, 96 or 97. And in Youngstown, Ohio at the time, we had under 21 dance clubs. So they didn't serve alcohol, but dancing was a thing. We would get ready. I didn't drink alcohol until I was 21. So like the group of guys I grew up with, it was all about sports, all about getting good grades. And if you weren't good at sports and if you didn't get good grades, we would make fun of you. So we would have roast sessions and clowning each other. If I found out that Bob got a C in our stats class and all of us got A's, you were getting roasted. Or if during one of our basketball games, you go like 2 for 10 from the field and we win, you're getting clowned. So this is the type of guys I grew up with. So we're 15 years old. We're at this dance club dancing, and this girl, a cute girl, comes up to me and asks me to dance. And I didn't know how to dance at the time. And I was scared to death. I was like, hell no, at 15. And I got roasted for it so hard. My boys were like, damn, Johnny, you a punk. I didn't think you was a punk. I ain't never been a... And so after that experience, my closest mate, Matt, who was my neighbor, Matt was, he looked like Usher, great athlete, Matt Banks, my brother to this day. I was like, Matt, could you teach me how to dance? So we go to his house and we watch Usher videos. And it was the video, You Make Me Wanna, do. And so he would play this video. We'd watch this video for like hours. And that's how I learned to dance. And over time, I just added my own thing. But yeah, I only learned how to dance because I got clowned. So... Classic paper football, 96, 97, weren't born yet. DJ Green's tips are always on point, mate. DJ Green's an animal. What fights you picking this week? King of Fitness, Johnny, did you play my head? DJ Durkin. I know Durkin from Cheney. Did you play my head coach in college? Durkin either went to Cheney or Mooney. Ask him. I went to Liberty. I think I played baseball with Durkin. He either went to Struthers, Cheney, or Mooney. Ask him. I just been trying to pimp. Appreciate TJ's a G. Ziggy, yes, Johnny the boxing guru. What made you move to Australia from the U.S.? I was living in Las Vegas, Nevada, in 2013, bartending at Planet Hollywood on the Strip, and I met an Aussie girl who was a flight attendant. Long story short, I flew to hang out with her, came back to Vegas, and I was like, I want to move there, and then I just moved there. Ortiz versus Lubin. I cannot wait for this fight. Initially, when this fight went out, I was like, they are overlooking Lubin. I can't wait to break this tape down. I'm a huge Erickson Lubin fan, the Hammer. I think people sleep on him. But Virgil, dude, come on. In this era, if there's any fighter, and there's a few, that you could take and put in a different era, Virgil Ortiz, dude. Love watching him fight. DJ, I really appreciate the knowledge from your boy. We appreciate you. Jason Duval. Somebody hit a super chat that disappeared, man. I wanted to say thank you. There you go. Crenshaw Family Kennels, man. Crenshaw, I appreciate you with the super chat. Thank you. Did I miss one more? No, we're good. Thanks for the support, guys. And now I heard St. Ignatius is the best high school in Cleveland for football. When I was coming up, JP Farley, I graduated high school in 2000. The best high school football programs in Ohio, St. Ignatius was one of them. but you also had Cleveland St. Ed's. You had Cleveland St. Ed's. You had Cincinnati Moeller. You had Warren Harding, which is in my area. Ursuline, which was a smaller school, which is going through a crazy. The Ursuline cats has been doing some extra. What's the young buck say? Them Ursuline cats have been doing some extra shit lately. Just Google it. The FBI had to come in to our rival. We were rivals with them. Boardman High. Oh, Boardman, huge school. Boardman High was the biggest Division I school in our area. If he played there, he was a dog. DJ Durkin. It's been 25 years for me, King Fitness. When I graduated high school, I never went back. You know what I mean? On paper, when I remember telling my girlfriend this. On paper, what you see, like movie scripts, I should have loved high school. You know, I was a 4-year starter in baseball. I was our high school quarterback. I was popular. I hated high school. I would never go back. Like, I'm not a guy. Once I graduated, I never went back. I just never felt like I fit in anywhere. I don't know if that's because I didn't grow up with all those kids. I got to that school when I was a freshman, and I just never felt like I fit in. But yeah, so I've never been back to my high school since I got my diploma. So I forget a lot of these memories. But Boardman, Bernie Kosar was a great quarterback who played for the Cleveland Browns, who I think Bernie won a Heisman at the University of Miami. He graduated from Boardman. And then there was a kid, Kenny Turpak. Kenny Turpak played at Boardman when I was a junior. He was a senior. He played ball at Stanford. So Boardman, my class at Boardman, Andy Caparillo was a good ball player. Matt Salmon was a good ball player. Boardman always produced good athletes. Glenville, great. Yeah, there's a lot of good, dude. We're from Northeast Ohio, man. We invented football. The Canton Football Hall of Fame is 45 minutes from my mom's house. So like you're born into this world with a football, you know, and boxing. High school was shit for me too. Yeah, I didn't like high school. Let's work. PJ always. This is why I like PJ, man. PJ's all about business. PJ be standing on business. He's like, can we work on that parlay though? He's like, I appreciate y'all talking. He's like, I like the come up stories. He's like, y'all give each other props whenever you want. But PJ's like, yo, for real, let's put a parlay together, mate. I was popular because of sports too. I said, fuck high school, same. So yeah, so LeBron, we did. I played against LeBron James in summer league basketball. Going into my senior year, I played at Liberty. He played at Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. He was 14. And we played at the Beagley Center. It was called the Beagley Center at the time. It's where Youngstown State University, it's where they play their college basketball games. So I played against LeBron in a summer league. We were seniors. Our team was stacked. We were state level school. I tell people this. People knew about LeBron, where I come from, when he was 14. I mean, I think LeBron was 16 when he did the Sports Illustrated cover. That one. We Are All Witnesses. PJ on that grind. He said, yeah. PJ was like, I don't really be doing all them little backstories. He's like, let's get that little parlay popping. All right, guys. So here, what do we got? Who's doing action this week? Because some of you boys are like, you're taking the week off. I don't really see anything that jumps off the page. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe we get. I'm not getting options on Najee to bet on. Like Tycee Gallagher fight. It's a 50-50 fight. Sean McComb, Ben Crocker. Do we really want to bet the house on that? Maybe. Sean McComb should win. I'm gonna do the breakdown. You guys will get a Stacks on Live video on that. And then that's on Sportsbet. Let's see the contender. You know what we're doing today, though. If you guys really want to see the sadness of a Cleveland sports fan, the Cleveland Indians, the Guardians, are playing Detroit for a playoff spot. Cleveland is facing pretty much the best pitcher of his era, Skubal. And we've won 9 of our last 10. Detroit's lost 9 of their last 10. They've had this epic collapse. If we win, we're positioning ourselves for a playoff spot with like 7 games left. My little sister's going to the game. It's in Cleveland. I know what's going to happen. Skuball's probably going to throw a gem. He's probably going to throw a complete game 2-3 hitter and beat us 1-0. And we're going to lose. And we're probably going to miss out on the playoffs. So I'm not getting too... That's happening today. So if you want to put a little bit of sprinkle on Cleveland, don't do it. Don't do it. I got money on Cleveland to win too, but damn, dude. Oh, it's tough. See, that's all my hats back there are Cleveland hats. I'm a diehard Cleveland Indians fan, Cleveland Guardians fan. You know, Jose Ramirez, man, one of the most underappreciated ball players of the last probably 10 years. Jose Ramirez has been doing it for a while. But they better win, man. I just been up. Did you watch the Browns versus Green Bay? Did you watch, maybe our luck is turning. But this is in Cleveland sports fashion. The Browns start 0-2. We should have won our game one by, missed the field goal. Bring that field goal kicker back. We hit a 55-yarder against Green Bay. We were 20-point dogs. We now are 1-2, which has the fan base hopeful. Watch us go on and lose the next 4. Watch the Browns start 1-6. Brownies will start 1-5. Get off. And then they'll win 2 more. And then it'll be 4-6. And then we'll get our hope back up. And this is Cleveland for you, mate. This has been my whole life. This is why I love LeBron. This is my revelry, my allegiance, my loyalty to LeBron. Not only because he's from Akron, but he brought us a world title. Haven't won a World Series in baseball since 1948. 48. We had some of the best teams in the 90s. When you Google who are the best Major League teams to never win a World Series, you will get 2 to 3 Cleveland Indians teams. In 97 alone, 8 of our 9 starters were all-stars. And we lose to an expansion Marlins team. I don't want to talk about it. Football. Before the Super Bowl, American football had the AFL and NFL. They had the championship game. The Cleveland Browns of those years had won, I think, 15 championships. We had Jim Brown, the greatest running back of all time. Otto Graham, a guy you guys don't know, one of the greatest quarterbacks statistically of all time. When that merger happened and the championship got renamed to the Super Bowl, I think it was 1960, Super Bowl I, Green Bay. The Browns, how many Super Bowls have we won? How many Super Bowls have we played in? The Cleveland Cavs, expansion team. They came around, I think, in the mid-70s. Never won a championship until LeBron. 2016, we're down 3-1 against Golden State. That famous press conference with Klay Thompson. After game 4, Klay Thompson gives this press conference about just shitting on us, just shitting on LeBron. And you know what? LeBron took that personal. And Golden State became the first team ever in NBA history to be up 3-1 in the finals and lose. LeBron brought us our first ever pro sports championship in 2016. That can never be taken away. That's why LeBron, in my opinion, is the GOAT. In steps Muscles. Muscles hates this conversation. Oh, the Cubs loss. You're talking 20... Wasn't the Cubs loss 2016, Pedro? Oh, God. The Cubs loss. Oh, God. I forgot about the Cubs loss. In fashion, too, how we tied that series. Do you remember that 9th inning home run? To at home, to Cleveland tie it up, and then we blow it? The Cubs hadn't won a World Series since 1919, the curse of the GOAT. Cleveland, dude. God damn. All right, boxing. Here we go. Bum, ask me a boxing question, Bum Equipment. Bum Equipment, my guy. We got about, I'm going to stay on a little bit. Let's talk. We got not a lot of fights this week, though. The following week, we got some good fights. Gary Antoine Russell just signed to fight Andy Hiroka. If you don't know Hiroka, he's a guy that isn't mainstream. He's a knockout artist. This fight's at 140. Is for GAR's belt. You guys know how I feel about GAR. Andy Hiroka was the only guy to beat Jin Sasaki before Brian Norman Jr. stopped Sasaki. So when we were doing the breakdown of Jin Sasaki, we were doing his tape. We got to know, and for those who didn't know, you got to know, or at least become aware of who Andy Hiroka is. He's a dog. This is a great fight. I think GAR is going to be too much. Now, it's kind of like how much... Who is GAR, right? Is he the guy who fought Alberto Puello, who looked great for the first 5 rounds, and then got a bit one-dimensional and looked like he was getting fatigued, and then Puello started winning close rounds and he loses a decision in a fight I feel should have won? Or is GAR the guy who looked amazing against Rayo? Everything, his timing, his counters, his setups, his jab, his backhand, his pace, his output, his energy. That's who I think GAR is. I just think Alberto Puello is that good. No shade on Rayo. It's just slick southpaw boxer, uses the entire ring. As Puello, that's a tough guy to plan for. That's a tough guy to kind of maneuver around and outpoint. When you get a guy like Rayo, a little bit more tailor-made for GAR style, Andy Hiroka is similar to that. Mate, firefight. Firefight. I cannot wait for this fight. The biggest salt I have about this fight is that it's on Jake Paul's card. That is a travesty to the promotional companies that GAR has to, that fight has to be put on that card to add credibility to Jake Paul's punk ass. But anyway, I can't wait to do that tape. That's going down in November. We got Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. in November. Come on. It is kind of boo-boo. Game 7 was the greatest baseball. Yeah, Pedro, I got to stop. I can't bring that bad memories, baby. I knew GAR would beat up Rayo. We won a lot of money, DJ. We were getting torn. I got receipt. Go find my breakdown. It's on my fight prediction playlist. Read the comments before the fight happened. I was getting cooked in the comments because I predicted GAR to beat Rayo. And I'm a Rayo fan. I don't get it always right. I got cooked recently. But I felt really confident going into the GAR versus Rayo fight based off the stylistic matchup. And, watching how Gary... So we talked about earlier in the stream, if you've been with me since the first minute, I was talking about personality types in boxing, how there's certain elements to a fighter's game that we all kind of like or we dislike. One of my favorite things about GAR is that anchor he has to his family, his last name, the revelry he had for his father, that you see that in his discipline. He not a social media guy. He doesn't care about the clicks. He doesn't care about going viral. This dude lives in the gym. He's a technician in there. He could brawl in there if he wanted to. He could do a lot of things. He's a fun fighter. And, he's being a little bit more active. That's been the knock on the Russell family. Who would have thought in 1 year we would see Gary Russell Jr., Gary Antoine Russell, and the other Gary Russell. He just fought a month and a half ago. I apologize for it's another A. Who would have thought we would have seen all three in the same calendar years? Is pretty good. We want to see more of them. Yeah, Nick Flaz versus Tiger Johnson. Guys, I wanted to see Nick Flaz versus Pete Dobson, man. That was going to be a fun fight. Shout out to Pete Dobson. That's my guy. A lot of time to do film study. Yep, Benavidez Yard coming up. Brandon, how many? Sorry, mate. Well, at least you guys know where I stand. Brandon. King Fitness. No Diddy, Johnny, you got good genetics. I'll be 44 in April. Hairline intact. Coach Dirk bald as hell. Yeah, man. We can't. My dad got sick. My dad passed away. He was too young. I was 27. My dad was 56. My dad, passed away too young after an illness. But he didn't take care of himself when he was in his 40s and 50s. He was a stud athlete when he was younger. But even on his deathbed, he had a full head of hair. So yeah, we can't help our genetics. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like it. You'll never really see me ever take a compliment in general, let alone a compliment based on something that I have no control over. I don't like compliments. TM, that Andy, yep. Andy's a power puncher. I think TM, how GAR is going to game plan for Andy Hiroka, I give GAR the speed advantage. I have to revisit. I'm not sleeping on Hiroka. Fun guy, fun fighter, explosive, wants a firefight. Off jump, I think GAR is going to use his jab to lure him and then catch and pull and counter him. And we're going to see if Andy could hold up, because Andy has only been the hammer. This is one of those fights, guys, where we're going to see both guys who are, GAR has a loss, but he really didn't have to be the nail. He lost a close decision to Puello that could have gone either way. Very close. He was up too early. I think that he made some mistakes early with his gas tank and his output. That's it. That's a strategy. That's sort of a prep thing, and that's sort of a miscalculation. It wasn't like Puello was putting belt to ass. So it's not like GAR. We got to see him be the nail. We've never seen Hiroko be the nail either. So this is one of those matchups true blue fight fans are stoked about. If you started boxing in Atlanta, you would hate it. Boxing's corrupt, toxic, man. That just bums me out that so many young fighters go through this, old fighters go through this. So many guys will quit because of this. Toxic. All I'm gonna say about that comment, because I can't speak too much on it, because I've hung out in Atlanta a few times back when Buckhead was a cool area to party in. I'm really dating myself. Is Buckhead still nice? I used to party in Buckhead. I used to live in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, in 2002 and 2003. I was playing summer league baseball there in college, and we would go down to Buckhead, Hotlanta. But the cards that I've seen regionally that they put onto Zone with Atlanta fighters, yeah, you could see sort of the skill isn't as high. I mean, isn't Brandon Glanton from Atlanta? Glanton's kind of had a decent career. I think Brandon Glanton's fighting again soon. We saw him at the highest level. He was on that Riyadh card against the Big Brit, and I actually had Glanton win and he got beat. He was it. Damn it! I hate when my memory is not as sharp as it used to be. One of the Smiths, not Liam, not Callum. You guys, the chat will let me know who. But isn't Glanton from Atlanta? Greetings from Spain, España. What bets do you recommend for October? Rayo de la Santa Liga. Appreciate you, brother. We'll get to those bets shortly. B-Money, Gary, Antonio, Russell. Yeah, so there's Antoine, Antonio, JR. Chat. Johnny, what baseball team you said you was betting on? Now, I'm a Cleveland fan. They're playing Detroit. Cleveland's the dog. Cleveland's facing the best pitcher. Some would say the best pitcher in the major leagues, Skubal. He has great control of his fastball. He has a really good breaking ball. He puts the ball where, a lot of times he gets up on his counts, so he doesn't get behind on the count, meaning that he doesn't throw a lot of 1-2 balls. He likes throwing first pitch strikes, and he has good command. He's really tough to get in front of. So the way Cleveland has to beat him is to get in front of him and get to their bullpen early. Just historically, Scubal's a guy who takes you deep. He usually takes a team into the 7th or 8th, and by then his offense only needs to get a couple runs. You're down. Detroit. They're in, but they're losing. They've lost 9 out of the last 10. Momentum is a big thing in baseball. Cleveland is coming off a loss too, but they've won 9 out of the last 10, and everything is on the line. I'm glad it made you laugh. I was just playing. It's all good, man. Bum equipment. Hey, I see what you mean when you say Moses versus. Yes, I want to see Moses Ituama versus Justice Huni. Nobody's talking about it. I could rant about both guys for a while. I mean, you got to get past our fandom. Boxing fandom has to get past the idea of throwing a guy away because he loses a fight or gets knocked out. This is boxing. How do we just forget about the 10-plus rounds where we got to see who Justice is? I want to see that guy against Moses. That is a great matchup, too. And what's Justice, 26, maybe 27 now? Young heavyweight. Guys, we know the heavyweight division is a division where a lot of times you don't strike gold until you're early to mid-30s. You know what I mean? Based off of the physicality of the human body, how we grow. Men won't reach their highest form of testosterone, generally speaking. There are outliers until our late 20s. So, and then you mix that in with the last thing to leave in terms of a skill set is power. That's why you see, George Foreman being able to become a world champion well into his 40s. You see, the success Usyk is having. You see, Bud, not a heavyweight, but heavyweights, you know what I'm talking about, will have longer careers based off of carrying their skill. When you see a Huni guy who's only 26, still developing, still learning, his issues are tactical. I wouldn't even call him chinny. I mean, he got dropped. He got wobbled a few times. That's a tactical issue. You know how you hide that? You keep the chin down, you circle away from a big puncher's backhand when you're up 10 rounds. That's a tactical issue. That's a fight IQ issue. The haters will say it's not chinny to me. Yeah, he got stopped. That was an early-ass stoppage too, ref. What are we doing, ref? Come on. Salty as hell. Still salty about that, ref. Who pulled out the Pete? Pete pulled out. Pete Dobson pulled out. Shoulder. Stanionis is fighting this weekend in Lithuania, not getting any action. He should win. So what they do, Manny, what's up, buddy? You know, a guy who's coming off a brutal stoppage loss who was fighting for a world title. We last saw Stanionis versus Boots. It's sort of like the going rate of what happens. You then give a fighter, give him some home cooking. This fight's in his home country, Lithuania. Give him a guy that he needs to get rounds in. He needs to get things clicking again. You know, get everything, you know, get a stoppage. Get that vibe back, get that energy back. Because he's still young. He's not a throwaway. With Boots leaving 47 and seeing the lands. Rolly Romero's a champion at 47. No, he's one of my favorite fighters. My point is, 47, Stanionis could still be a world champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, Stanionis is good. It's just Boots was special that night. And we're going to see how Boots handles 54. But, you know, I'm very close from calling Boots a special fighter. He was special against Stanionis. Jaron Ennis is a joy to watch. How he operates, what he does. I love the sprinkle of showboating. I love the stance switching. I love that slight little element of Emmanuel Augustus to his game. I love how he got power in both hands. Chin's a little bit high for me, though. You know, chin's a little bit high. What do they always say in boxing? You could get away with it until you can't. We'll see. We'll see how that chin hold. You know, dude, don't sleep on Lima, man. Lima, good guy at 154. Since when do we not? The IBO belt is so slept on. People just act like Lima is a shit fighter. It's gonna be a good fight. Buckhead's still the richest part. All right. So things haven't changed. It's been 25 years, Toxic. So I guess this is what you would call, I don't get too political on here, but it's not redistrict. Redistricting is when they rewrite voting lines and they change sort of like where the Democrats and Republicans vote. There's a term that happened in the civil rights era with properties and businesses, blue lines maybe, of when purposefully the government were putting the wealthy areas in certain areas and then only selling homes to lower income families to keep it. It really has. It's segregation. What it is, it's horrible. Yeah, I'm not getting too political here. Now, gentrification would be when sort of like the money comes in, like right now in Sydney, where we have traditional Aboriginal communities like Redfern, where, you know, the government, public housing, the Aboriginal community, a lot of boxing gyms in Redfern. Anthony Mundine came up through there. Shout out to Chalk. And then gentrification is when the money comes in, whether through tech, whether through foreign investors, and then they see this opportunity. Oh, that shit's close to a rail line, boy. They could jump on that rail line right there and be in the Sydney CBD in 5 minutes. Let's clean all this out. Let's put a little hair salon there. We got a little health club right here. We could put a little sushi joint right here. Put the rail. Let's repave these bricks. And there we'll put like high-level condos, and we'll sell those for like $1 million units. You know, that's gentrification. Redlining. Yeah, redlining was what I was talking about. DC is gentrified like shit right now. Yeah, so guys, it is an hour in. I appreciate you boys handling me today. This was a bit of a different version. You know, I haven't done a live stream in over 24 hours, so I've been kind of like, life kind of seeped in, my frustration with some of the things, still related to boxing. But we're going to heat up a little bit. Hopefully we get the Najee Lopez odds. Right now I don't have them. Pay attention to the channel. I'm going to be uploading the Ben Crocker versus Sean McComb breakdown. If you guys want to get ahead of the game, there's a fight next weekend in Scotland at light heavyweight. I've done my breakdown on that fight. It's a Statstone Live video of Mark Jeffers versus Willie Hutchinson. It's a tough one to predict. I think it should be about a 50-50. This will be Jeffers' first fight at light heavy. He is coming off of a loss, a fight he should have won, on paper at least, against Sean Hemphill. And we've also seen Hutchinson coming off of a loss as well last September. So we'll see what happens. With Jeffers, He's going to be the slicker guy. He's a fun operator. You know, he really does a lot of really nice things in there. And, Willie Hutchinson, the Hutch train, is going to want to bully him. He's going to want to land his power shots. He sometimes gets out of position. He's been stopped once, and when he got stopped, he got on his front foot, got out of position, and got countered. And this is actually what Jeffers likes to do. We'll see if he's going to be able to do that. That's going to be the narrative you're going to want to watch out for when you're watching Hutchinson versus Jeffers and when you're betting on it. So all in all, I'll see you guys soon. I appreciate you hanging out with me, and let's get this.